Hello students, this is Dr. Mike with a quick overview of Matplotlib. So first off here you can see we're in our Jupyter notebook. Quick note before we start and talk about the process, matplotlib.org is the site you go to with installation, full documentation, and actually probably one of the best things you can do is examples. Sometimes you're not sure how to visualize your data. Maybe you have an idea, maybe you want a horizontal bar chart. And it's good to pick a graphic or visualization that matches your intention or what you're trying to communicate. Let's say let's go to the good old bar chart. We can actually see the bar chart here, and we can see sample code. And so you can actually pick this up and start working with this as normal. So again, great resource, matplotlib.org. Typically the process is we make sure our data is prepared, and we're going to create our plot with our plot statement. We'd also throw in some customizations, and we can either save and or show or both our plot. So start off, you need to import NumPy, and we'll do that as NP. We looked at NumPy in a previous presentation, a previous topic. It is a basis for a lot of further data analysis in this course, in fact, with any Python. So NumPy would be imported. And then for the actual Matplotlib, I'm going to import Matplotlib dot pyplot. We're going to do it as PLT. Again, these are the standard conventions. NumPy as NP, Matplotlib as PLT. You can call this whatever you want. Run that. You can see it went. Those are now imported. Now we're going to look at some Jupyter Notebook magic here. And there's a magic command we can actually run with our %, matplotlib inline. This is going to actually display the plots we produce right within our notebook, so we can see them right away. So let's go and do that. So first off, we're going to create a simple plot here. So we're going to call our plot statement, and this is PLT is assigned to matplotlib.pyplot. You can see plt.plot is our option. There's a parentheses and brackets, and we're going to go and create a series here. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's all closed. And we're going to do a plot dot plt dot tab here. And you can see there's a lot of options with our plot here. This is where the documentation itself will be very handy from the website, or also the examples. There's a lot of these here. I'm going to call out ones that are pretty common. First one's going to be Y label. And here I'm going to go ahead and create y-axis, plt.xlabel, long brackets. There we go. Next axis. Give it a title, plt.title. And we'll give this a clever title. How about 1, 2, 4? And we're going to do the plt dot show. We actually leave that empty. So again, we're calling the plot PLT, which is from our Matplotlib, and we're actually identifying the actual plot items, labels, titles, and then we actually execute the show command. All goes good. You run, and there we go. We have our first plot. So let's move on here. Let's look at the actual plot command itself. So PLT, the plot command itself, actually again comes from the Matplotlib.pyplot, and it's actually the dot plot, and it uses two things called args. These are non-keyworded variables. So like we saw here, plot, that's our non-keyword variable. And then there's also something called keyword arguments. And in Python, they're called KWARGS. And these are actually keyworded variables. And we're going to look at those in a second here. So let's just give you an example of what that means. Again, you can see this in documentation, args and KWARGs, keyword arguments. So let's look at an example of what that actually looks like. So an example will be, again, plot. Again, let's go ahead and just do a series of numbers here. Bracket. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 0, 1, 2, 1, 4. Let's do 4. Do some single digits for now. Again, this is our actual argument that's passed in. So it knows these are the this is the data that needs to be plotted. And what a keyword argument is, on the end of this, before we close the bracket here, put in a comma, and I can say line width UID equals 4.0, let's say. This is a keyword argument. So within the pyplot, the Matplotlib library, there's a line width, and we're telling it to be 4.0 in width. So let's run this, and you can see here we have a line much thicker than our original line, which is a 1 pixel, I believe. So this is 4 pixels, I believe, in width. We can mess with this. So say 6, and it's much thicker. So again, documentation for Matplotlib is going to be very important to go back and look at these keyword arguments. There's a lot of these, and it's going to depend upon your use case. So let's look at some other ones here. So let's create a new plot here, plt.plot. Again, I'm going to go and feed it some data. Let's feed it two series of data now instead of just one series. So let's feed it 1, 2, 3, 4 because I'm not really creative. And our second series is comma separated and in a bracket. And let's just do, I don't know, 1, 4, 9, and let's do 16. Now again, it's closed it for us. Notebook has given us a closed parentheses, but we want to go back inside there and pass in an argument. So let's pass in an argument of the type we want to do. So we're going to do red circles. So to make red circles or dots, it's a text string, R for red, and actually the O for dots. Think of those as saying I want a round identifier. Let's do a plot.y label. Again, just be sure we see everything. Y axis. We see our plot.x label. And we're going to, of course, call this. Of course, in real life, you'd want to have good identifiers here. Let's say like the car weight and miles per gallon. So we're doing just so we can sort of visualize where those axes are at, and then a plot dot title, and we'll do this one red markers. Oops. And a plot dot show. So if anyone came out good here, we can see now what the RO has done is it replaced from going a contiguous line to actually doing red dots. So another example of a keyword argument. In this case, though, there's no keyword for attached to it, but we did pass an argument with the data set, and that did change our plot itself. Now, a really powerful thing about plotting is actual subplots. So we've been creating individual plots now, and again, one of the best ways you can go is look at examples and actually pull the code from this web page and modify it to match your needs. One of the things you can do, though, is actually create subplots. Now, subplots is just that. It's having two different data sets plotted over the same chart. And what we do is we use something called figures. So I'll say figure, and this could be what I want to call. I can call it X fig, Y fig, fig 1, fig 2, and so on. It's just a parameter name, but I do need to do a plt dot figure. You can see it's right there in our library. We'll close that. So we're creating a variable to hold a figure. And a figure is just a plot with more plots inside of it. So it's a way for Matplotlib to handle more than one set of data to be plotted. What it does is it creates a figure, or we create a figure to say we're going to actually create some subplots inside there. So let's call this one AX. And so we're going to do the figure dot add subplot. And we're just going to assign 1, 1, 1. Now what that means is, the 1, 1 means is it's one tall by 1 wide, and it's plot number 1. So we're identifying, that means is we're identifying our subplot, how we want it to be within the figure itself. So it's plot number 1, which is you always start off with. It's 1 tall and 1 wide. And we're assigning that to the AX variable. Again, AX is what we're calling it. So AX.plot now. And again, so now we're going to add our data to this. So again, let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's do a second series here of 10, 20, 25, and 30. We're going to add in a keyword argument here. Color equals light blue. And we'll do another argument too. So here we're doing multiple keyword arguments. Line width equals 3. Key here with keyword arguments, you can tell this is a text string, so it is encapsulated in single quotes, whereas line width is a numeric argument, and so there's not enclosed in quotes. We're passing just the number 3 itself. So again, we created AX. AX is a subplot of our figure, so we're sort of building upon this. And then I'm going to go and create, let's make this a scatter plot. We're going to throw a scatter plot inside there too. And so our scatter plot, let's use some numbers like, let's use some decimals here. Float variables, 3.8, 1.2, And I don't know, 2.5. Let's go ahead and send another series of data inside there. So let's just use 11, use regular numeric variables here. Integers, 25, 9, and 26, let's say. So I'm going to go and create the color. Do dark green. Again, if you're curious what colors you can use, again, documentation is going to be your key here. Definitely look at the coloration you can use for the color argument. And the marker itself, let's change our marker. Instead of being just a dot, let's do something unique. This one, we do have to enclose it in a text quote. And the uptick, which is a shift 6, should give us triangles. It looks like a little tiny triangle in a way. You can also do other things too. We can do AX dot. We can set our limits. For example, I want the minimum to be 0.5. Oops, 0.5. And let's do the max is 4.5. So again, there's a lot of options we can run here with this. And everything goes good here, hopefully. Plot.show. And if we run any problems, we'll just debug it here. And it worked, good. So you can see I have a light blue plot. And it's plot 1. And plot 1 contains these two sets of data. It contains this plotted data, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4 by 10, 20, 30, and so on, which is the light blue line with 3. And the second overlay, you think we overlaid within there, is scatter plot. So within AX, we created a scatter plot also, and here's the two value ranges we wanted on top of those. We did dark green with the marker with triangle. And then some examples, we didn't set the title in this one. We didn't set the X and Y title, which is pretty much similar. But you can definitely look into that. There's a lot of ways you can do it's set underscore title, set underscore X label, and Y label for these subplots. But again, we didn't do those here. We just did a limit set though. So again, there's other things you can do besides just add titles and subtitles. You can actually set limits for accesses. So our X limit for our X axis, we said start at 0.5, which is probably hard to see here in this video, but that's a 0.5, and end at 4.5. It ends at 4.5. So we sort of trimmed out the actual X axis itself. So we actually create and modify the axis. And then of course plot.show, which is the last thing we need. So again, Matplotlib, great way to create plots. We can do multiple plots. And before you end up here, the gallery itself, you can see here's plotting categorical values. Again, you can see they use AX, so you can see I've used that same convention. Again, this is whatever you want to call it, AX plot. In this case, they actually, I'm sorry, this one right here, they actually created 3 plots, AXS, so subplots here, 0, 1, and 2. So 3 plots total. So you can create 3 plots like this across with the same y-axis values though. So I definitely suggest look at the examples at the Matplotlib library. And you'll find all kinds of good examples you can harvest. And of course, you can save these. And one thing you can do is you can actually change the size itself of the plot. So let's see if I do, let's see if we can run this again here. Let's do figure plot. Let's take figure and do figure.set. You can see there's some options for set. So we want set size inches. The reason I'm showing you this is This is great for just me looking at my analysis, right? This is good for me. I'm running this plot, I'm changing it, and I get the way I want it to look. But if I take this and put it into a PowerPoint and put it on a large overhead, it's going to be very grainy. So I want a higher quality output. So I can actually do the set size inches. Let's make this really big. Let's do 18.5 by 10.5 inches. And let's see if this works. Yeah, I need to run it. Let's run that up here. What's nice about this is let's run this here and run that axis again. There we go. So let's pick it up there. So there you go, a lot larger plot. And beyond that too, besides the figure set size, when we're done, besides showing it, we can do a figure dot save figure. We actually can give it a name. We'll call it test1.png. We want to do a PNG file on higher quality, and then we can have a keyword argument here of DPI. Dots per inch. We can just do 100. And this again. I get it here, and I also should have it in my downloads. So there it is, right there. Test1.png. And if I go to my downloads here, there it is. So very large, a lot clearer. Of course, I have no graphics on it, but this is something I could take and put into a document for high quality print and or presentation. So this is just the demo of getting into and starting with Matplotlib. I can't suggest any more than really going to the documentation on the website, user's guide, and really I believe the best way is through the examples and tutorials. But the examples, it's a great way to sort of really see how different parameters and different ways you can plot data within Matplotlib. So I hope this has been very helpful, and take care.